budget. Freedom.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Aren't you excited? Good afternoon. So how's everyone? Sino mga busog na? Yung mga ano pa, medyo hindi pa busog. It's okay. Anyways, we'll be keeping our presentation short. And we're glad to see all of you here. That is why we're so enthused to present to you our study.
Buying some time.
Okay, pasok na. So our study the study that we're going to present to you is on the use of the prepositional verbs result in and based on versus result to and based from. Introduction. Okay, Philippine media has been existent for more than 100 years, starting with the Spanish colonial period. Ang ating medium noon pa man ay mga dyaryo. Although newspapers were written in Spanish, but when the Americans came and introduced English to us, newspapers started publishing in English. And the state of Philippine media today is multifaceted because of the presence of several media such as television, radio, and of course, the ever-present newspapers. And as for newspapers, which are the focuses of our study, they're divided into two. The first one is broadsheets, like Philippine Daily Inquirer, Philippine Star, and Manila Bulletin. And the tabloids, such as what you see on screen. And I'm actually guilty of reading tabloids. Our study is based on the concept of World Englishes by Cash Group. And as everybody knows, as everybody's familiar with this, Philippine English is part of the outer circle, which is defined as those that use English as a second language. And ours is the only member of the outer circle that patterns our English after American English. And it's slightly different from American English in terms of lexicon, grammar, and pronunciation. And here are some reviews-related literature. They focused on the features of Philippine English, such as lexicon, grammar, and a few other elements. And the focus and scope of our study is on the comparison of the standard English prepositional verbs versus the Philippine English version. And to give you a distinction, result in denotes effect, while based on denotes basis. And the scope of the articles that we used are online versions of news and opinion articles written from 2011 to 2012. And here are our assumptions of the study we conducted. And here are our research questions. And now for the methodology, I'm presenting to you my very good buddy, J.R.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Dr. So I will be discussing with you the methodology of our paper. Instruments and materials. Researchers own formula of news and opinion articles written by Filipino writers from 2011 to 2012. This is from the very late 2011 up to the middle of 2012. Online versions chosen due to convenience and to similarity to printed versions. Procedures undertaken. Random collection of articles containing the standard English prepositional verb result in, based on, and the Philippine English prepositional verb result to and based from. Segregation of articles by prepositional verbs in standard English and Philippine English version. Frequency counting for comparison purposes. I will be discussing also with you today the results and discussion. So, statement number 1, between result in and result to, which prepositional verb is more frequently utilized in the collection of articles containing such verbs? So, among the 50 broadsheet articles that we have collected for our corpora, the result of 47 for result in, which is 94%, and for result to, it's 3 out of the 50, so that's 6%. Some examples of result in. The danger of pushing taxes too high is that it may reach a point of diminishing tax returns, REC award. As in any product, a higher tax rate does not automatically result in higher collection. This was written by Cruz in 2012, paragraph 14. Result 2, our example, we hope to take out the politics as much as possible. If the electric cooperatives can be made to run as they should, without the politicians influencing, then it would result to better performance for the electric cooperatives, she said. This is by Mercurio in 2012, paragraph 22. So for table 2, between based on and based from, which prepositional verb is more frequently utilized in the collection of articles containing such verbs? For based on, we have a total of 47 occurrences, which is 94%, and from based from, from based from, we have 3, which is 6%. So our examples for based on, Labor Secretary Rosanita de Mafilis Balton said there is a need for carpenters based on Dole's latest labor market signaling study project job fit, the Dole 2020 vision. And this is by Duputi in 2012, paragraph 2. And for based from, the ACAP Bata, a child welfare partnership group, expressed doubts that majority of Filipinos support the K-12 education program, which the Department of Education based from the results of the Social Weather Station survey last March. This is by Achero, 2012, paragraph 1. Possible reasons behind the results of the study. Writers still learning standard American English convention, especially in terms of prepositional verbs. Articles intended for worldwide reading. Understanding and easy transfer of the meaning of the Filipino preposition sa to English in accordance with the context of the article. And here's my very good friend Jet for the conclusion recommendation.
Thank you very much once again. And here is our conclusion. Okay. It was generally reflected in the results that the Filipino writers featured, who wrote those articles, adhered to the standard English forms, result in and based on, although there were very few who deviated from such norms. And another conclusion is that proper exposure to English is a possible factor in Filipino writers' skills in standard English use, in terms of grammar in this case, as well as constant practice in the use of standard English prepositional verbs or phrasal verbs. And here are some implications for teaching, such as the teaching of proper prepositional verb forms and other grammar concepts using real-life material, such as newspapers, books, and other similar media. And another implication for teaching is the increased exposure to standard English, but that doesn't mean that exposure to Philippine English is not encouraged. In fact, it is encouraged because it's what creates our identity. And the last application is the use of newspapers as one of the benchmarks of proper grammar and structure of English. And here are some recommendations such as building and expansion of corpora, because in terms of our data, they were limited in the sense that we got them from major newspapers, although these were the online versions. And another recommendation is the introduction of practical ways of teaching grammar, such as the use of authentic materials, and also encouraging students to study the patterns in which patterns manifested in the written material. And there's also a need for longitudinal research across other media sources, such as radio and television. Although the sad part is that in radio, there are only 2 radio stations that broadcast their news in English. And the last recommendation is the immersion method, which is necessary for easier, because as I told you earlier, it's what makes us distinct from other cultures. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.
Manyan po after nung session active naman po. Active naman po.